All right, I am Sergeant John Buckley, assigned to Internal Affairs. Today's date is Wednesday, July 22nd, 2020. It is approximately 14:59 hours. We are at the John F. Duffy Administrative Center in a private conference room located in Internal Affairs. Present for this interview is accused employee Deputy Andrew Phillips, who is represented by Attorney Rick Pinkard. Assisting me today is Sergeant Michael Binsfield from Internal Affairs. Additionally, Sergeant Cesar Ceballos from Internal Affairs is present as an observer only and will not be participating in the interview. Do you have any objections to his presence?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Are you aware that I'm recording this interview?
Yes, sir.
The purpose of this interview is to discuss Internal Affairs case number 2020-017.1. Prior to beginning this interview, I provided you with a copy of the complaint form. This complaint alleges that on January 28th, 2020, you were arrested for vandalism by the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Before I begin the interview, I will read you the LIBARGER admonition. You have the right to remain silent. If you give up the right to remain silent, anything you say can and will be used in court against you. You have the right to speak with an attorney of your choice before questioning and to have an attorney present during questioning. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you by the court prior to any questioning if you so desire. The attorney will not cost you anything. The services are free. Do you understand each of these rights I have explained to you?
Yes.
Having in mind and understanding your rights as I have explained to you, are you willing to speak with me?
No.
At this time, I'm going to question you about Internal Affairs case number 2020-017.1. This questioning concerns administrative matters relating to the official business of the Sheriff's Department. I am not questioning you for the purposes of instituting a criminal complaint against you. During the course of this questioning, even if you do disclose information which indicates that you may be guilty of criminal misconduct, neither your self-incriminating statements nor the fruits of any self-incriminating statements you make will be used in any criminal legal proceedings. Since this is an administrative matter and any self-incriminating information you may disclose will not be used against you in a court of law, you are required to answer my questions fully and truthfully. If you refuse to answer my questions, this in itself is a violation of the rules of the department and you will be subject to disciplinary action up to and including termination. Do you have any questions concerning what I have just explained to you?
No.
I am now ordering you to answer the following questions. Before the interview began, did you have a chance to read the Sheriff's Policy and Procedures sections as they relate to 2.15 insubordination, 2.38 intervention, 2.41 departmental reports, and 2.46 truthfulness?
Yes.
Do you understand each of these sections?
Yes.
Do you understand your obligation to adhere to them?
Yes.
Did I give you an opportunity to review the nature of the allegation?
Yes.
Okay. I also provided you with Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Declaration of Arrest Report, arrest/detective report, a crime scene investigation report with several thumbnail photographs attached, and a court register of actions. Did you have an opportunity to review those reports with your attorney?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any questions about any of that?
No.
Okay. So how long have you worked for the Sheriff's Department?
9 years.
Okay. Do you have any prior law enforcement experience?
No.
Okay. Prior military?
Yes.
And what was that?
That was 4 years in the Marine Corps.
Okay. What was your...
MOS.
Yes.
That was a 7051 crash fire rescue.
Okay. And what is that?
It's like airport firefighting.
Okay. What was your assignment with the Sheriff's Department prior to this incident?
I was a traffic investigator in Poway.
Okay. And how long were you in that assignment?
Say maybe almost a year and a half.
Okay. So briefly take me through your assignments with the Sheriff's Department after you graduated from the academy.
I was assigned to George Bailey Detention Facility for a couple years. I transferred to Vista Detention Facility. Then from there I went to the Law Enforcement Academy, got stationed in Vista Patrol, became a PERT deputy there, and then from there transferred to Poway Traffic.
Okay, so you were originally hired as a corrections deputy, detentions
Correct.
deputy.
Yes.
And then South Bay, how long did you do there? About?
At George Bailey.
Or George
I
Bailey?
would say 3 years.
Okay, and then Vista?
Vista, just under a year.
Okay, and then do you remember which regional academy you went to?
It was the 104th.
104th, and you did your phase. You went straight out to patrol
Yes.
from the academy. You did your phase training in Vista.
Yes.
And how long were you Vista Patrol?
Vista Patrol, I would say 3 years.
Okay, and then you went to Poway Traffic.
Yes.
Okay. So at the time of this incident, prior to this incident, when you were Poway Traffic, who was your supervisor at that time?
Sorry, having a mental block right now.
It's
It
okay.
was oh, why can't I remember this? Sorry.
It's okay.
A lot going through my brain right now.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Oh my god.
We can come back to that. I think I know who it was. Was it Dave? Now I'm drawing a blank.
I'm like, this is my sergeant. Oh my goodness. Oh.
Okay, we'll come back to
What's
that.
going on right now?
Did you notify your supervisor that you were arrested?
No.
Okay, why not?
The arresting officer told me that morning that he had already contacted the department.
Okay. Do you know that it's your obligation to also let your supervisor know?
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Well, let me break that up for a little bit. You know now that that's your responsibility. At the time of this event, did you know that?
Well, at the time of the event, when they said they had already contacted the department, I thought that was. By the time I got out of the I already had the voicemail from you saying to give you a call, so I thought they were already notified.
Okay. At the time of this incident, where were you living? Or prior to this incident, I guess I should say.
You know my home address?
Yeah. Well, where were you living at the time? Okay. And who were you living with? So then who did you go to Las Vegas with?
Las Vegas, I went with, at that time, was a girl that I'd been talking to.
Okay. And who was that?
That was,
Tell me about your relationship with prior to this incident.
so prior to this, so I was living at home with, we'd going at time, and I'd been seeing her off and on every week or two.
Okay. And where did you meet her on vacation?
I met her in Puerto Penasco, Mexico.
Okay. And so just, briefly tell me about your relationship with her. You would see each other.
I'd say probably once a week or two.
Okay. And would you stay over there for several days at a time?
No.
Okay. Did you keep any stuff there?
At that time, no.
Okay. Did you talk about what happened regarding the arrest?
So that day when I got out of jail, yeah, we were trying to figure out what happened that night.
Okay, and what did you guys talk about?
We both talked about that. We didn't remember anything. Like, I told her what happened, she told me what happened, and both of us were clueless on what happened.
Okay. Okay. So what did you tell her that happened?
So I told her the last thing I remember is having a drink upstairs with these people that we met, and then I was like, from there it was a blank, and then she tells me the same thing,
Okay.
and then that's when I was like, I had a couple $100 that was missing. She was missing her expensive watch, and I'm like, what happened?
Okay.
Like, where's all of our stuff at? And,
Okay. And we'll get more into that
Okay.
a little later. Are you aware that I interviewed her regarding this investigation?
yes, she told me you called her.
Okay. Did you talk to her about what her and I talked about?
No.
Prior to this incident, has there ever been any violence between? Because she had some bruises, and do you know where or how she got those bruises?
I do not.
All right. So why were you in Las Vegas? Why did the two of you go?
Just vacation.
Okay. And what was, what was the plan? Where were you staying? When did you check in? How long were you there, and all that?
She's like a VIP member or something, so she had a couple free nights to stay at the Luxor. So that's what, just last moment thing, like, oh, let's just go. It's 2 free nights.
Mm-hmm.
So we spent the first 2 nights there at the Luxor, and then the third night, we're checking out and we weren't feeling too good. So we're like, let's just stay another day. So that's when I'd never been to the Rio, and she likes the Rio, so she's like, oh, let's stay there.
Okay.
So that's how we ended up there.
Okay. And about when did you check into the Rio?
Oh, what? Yeah, that I don't know.
Was it in the morning?
Yeah, no, I'd say the
in
afternoon.
evening?
I would say probably around 3 o'clock, somewhere around there.
And so, how long did you guys? Did you check in and drop your stuff and go, or did you hang out in the room?
Yeah, we
What
hung
did you
out in the
guys do?
room because we were still tired from the previous 2 nights of being in Vegas. So we went to the room, took a nap.
Okay. Did you take any weapons with you to Las Vegas?
Yes,
And what did you take with you?
I took my off-duty carry, Glock 43.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. And how many magazines did you take?
Just one. I believe just one.
The one that's in it, or did you take an extra one?
Just the one that's in it.
Okay. And how did you carry it? How do you carry it?
Inside the waistband holster, carry in the front right here.
Okay. And did you have it with you the whole time?
In Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. And when you checked in, did the Rio, did they ask you about any weapons, about if you had any weapons or anything when you checked in?
No.
Were you aware of any kind of policy about checking any weapons in with their security?
No.
Okay. How about the Luxor? Did they have anything regarding?
No, the
Very
Luxor actually had in the room safes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I left it when we were staying at the Luxor. But the Rio, I remember the room didn't have a safe. So that's why I didn't feel comfortable leaving it in there unattended. So
Right. And then, how did you get to Las Vegas?
I drove
Which car?
my car.
Okay. And do you have any kind of lockbox or anything in your car?
No.
What kind of car do you have?
Dodge Challenger?
Okay, do you have a trunk?
Yes.
Have you ever secured any weapons in the trunk?
No.
All right, so we're at the Rio, and you check in. You said you guys took a nap. So after the nap, what'd you do? And where I'm going with this is when I'm going to assume you were drinking. Is that a fair assumption?
At that point?
Well, at some point you were drinking that
Yeah.
night. Okay.
Yeah, that night,
So
yes.
that's where I'm kind of going here.
Okay.
So you said you checked in, you took a nap. So after the nap, what happened?
After the nap, we got up, we showered, we got ready, and we just went downstairs to go walk around. I mean, I don't really like gambling, so we're just walking around and seeing what was in the casino.
Okay. Did you do any drinking up in the room?
I don't think so, because I think we ran out of alcohol from the previous day.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm like it's.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
No, think about it. Take your time.
No, I'm pretty sure we didn't.
Okay. So, at what point then did you start drinking?
Oh, I would say as soon as probably we went downstairs, stopped at the bar and had a drink.
Okay. And what were you drinking?
We were drinking. What was I drinking? Vodka tonic.
Okay.
Do you remember about what time that was when you first started?
It was nighttime. 9 o'clock, maybe, somewhere around there.
So then, about how many drinks did you have until you went upstairs? And we're gonna get into going upstairs and who you met with and all that. But about how many drinks did you have until you went upstairs?
So by the time we met those people and all that,
Uh-huh.
I'd say 3.
Okay, 3 vodka tonics.
Correct.
Okay, and did you stay at the Rio?
Yes.
Okay. So throughout the contact, and this is all, so the officers there had body-worn camera, and so a lot of what I'm going to tell you and some of the quotes and things are taken directly out of the body-worn camera footage, okay?
Okay.
We do have it available if you and Mr. Pinkard want to watch it to verify that, but this is what's, it's on the footage. So throughout the contact with the officers, he told them you had 1 drink in 10 hours, 1 drink in 7 hours, 1 drink in 6 to 7 hours ago. And then you said you had a few drinks, and you told security you had multiple beers. Do you know why you kind of stuck to that 1 drink thing?
I don't remember any of that.
Okay. By any of that, do you mean the drinks or telling people that?
I mean, I don't remember telling anybody anything. I don't remember.
Okay.
Can you tell from that statement, obviously we're not listening to it, but can you tell from that statement whether he is recounting a cumulative 3 drink total over however many hours, or whether that was 3 different iterations of a single drinking pattern?
3 different iterations, and what it is essentially what it is you're trying to convince the officers that you're not intoxicated.
Okay.
That's the context
Okay.
of it.
Thanks.
And so really, that's really my question, and a lot of the questions are going to go toward whether whether you remember or not.
And for our context, was that conversation at the police station, at the hotel? Where?
So this is at the hotel as the officers are conducting their preliminary investigation. And so basically what happens, and I'll set up the context for a majority of the body-worn camera footage, is that the officers receive the radio call, they respond, and Deputy Phillips is outside in the valet area, in the parking, or the valet area, and that's where the preliminary investigation is conducted, and that's where Deputy Phillips is providing these statements, is out in the valet area. two officers on their body-worn camera footage, as well as some of the security that's relaying their observations to the officers on scene.
So this is the same period of time where they reflect in their reports that he was obviously intoxicated?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you or Ms. consume anything other than alcohol?
No.
Any kind of narcotics?
No.
Marijuana?
No.
Okay. And the reason why I ask is because the sergeant, so they tried to find to your room because she couldn't be located to conduct a welfare check to see if she was there, and the sergeant had noted that it smelled like weed. He said it smells like weed in the room. Can you explain why the sergeant would say something
Yeah, so
like that?
when we checked into the room, we noticed that too. We're like, dude, this room smells like marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she went downstairs to ask for a different room, and they're like, well, it's the only one we had.
Okay.
So,
Okay. All right. So let's get into the events leading up to the arrest. So you're downstairs. You have 3 vodka tonics. You're there. Is she the only one that you went to Las Vegas with?
yes.
Okay. Did you meet anybody out there that you knew?
Yes, so when we were at the bar down there, we met 2 girls and a guy.
Okay.
And we had a drink with them, and then from that's when they were like, hey, let's go up to our room, and, we have more alcohol and stuff up there.
Okay.
So,
So describe these 2 girls and the guy for me.
it was all Caucasian, blonde hair. The guy was, I think they were all from Germany, because they were speaking German, they had accents, but other than that, I don't remember too many details of them.
Okay. And so again, this just on body-worn camera, you told the officer that spends most of the time with you, his name is Officer Rybacki, that you saw a girl that you liked and a male that she liked, and you were going to have a good time by inviting them up. Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, so this was the 2 girls and the guy, and everyone was being super flirtatious with each other and all that, and because normally we would never go up to someone's room, but in this scenario, we were like, well, they're cute girls. I guess he was an attractive-looking guy. I was like, well, let's go upstairs and just see where it goes.
Okay. And
Yes.
okay. Because when I asked her about that, she said that she didn't know what that meant. Like, she didn't know what you were talking about.
Well, it's kind of embarrassing to admit, I guess, but I could see.
Okay.
We've never done anything like that, never have in my life. That's why I said it was just I guess, bad night.
Okay. So then about how long were you down in the bar before you met up with these people?
I could not tell you. I'd say maybe an hour or 2.
No clocks in Vegas, right?
Right. You don't know what time it is in the casinos.
Right. And so you had 3 vodka tonics before you met up with them, and then how much did you have to drink when you all were hanging out down at the bar?
Well, I think I had 2, and then when we were hanging out, I had a third with them.
Okay.
And then that's when, we're like, why are we paying $15 a drink? They were like, let's go up to our room. We have alcohol.
Okay. So then you to the room. Do all 5 of you go up together? The 2.
I want to say the females went up first while we were finishing our drink, and then we went up with the male.
So then when you got to the room, who was there? And this is the Germans' room. This is their room,
Yes,
not your room. Right?
correct.
Okay. Do you remember what room that was?
No.
Okay. Do you remember what floor that was on?
No.
Okay. So you get up to the room, and who all's there?
It was the 2 girls and 2 guys.
Okay. The same, one of the guys being the same one that you had met downstairs?
Yes.
And then describe the other one for me.
I think it was his boss or something, or a coworker. German guy also. I don't think he spoke any English, so I don't remember really talking to him that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at this point, you're in the room, and where is your gun at this point?
Still in my waistband.
So, what's going on in the room? Like, describe the room for me. I mean, what's kind of the general vibe? How's it going?
That's good. Everyone's laughing, telling jokes, and just talking with each other in the living room area right there. And then I want to say the guy we met was like in the little kitchen area or something, and he's the one that started making drinks for everybody.
And what kinds of drinks was he making?
Yeah, I don't remember. Vodka and Coke maybe or something. I honestly don't remember.
Were you guys doing any shots?
No. Nope, I remember just having that one drink that he gave us, and everything happens from there.
Okay. Well, we're going to get into everything happens. So you had said that there was some kind of deal that was going to go down, and that was part of the reason why you went up to the room. What was the deal? Oh,
okay. So the conversation was his business in Germany was like cabinets and she's trying to get into open her own business, like a flooring business. So then that was another reason why we went up. He was like, "Oh, let me get you the information. So if we could try to get, stuff imported from Germany here to America and be in business together." So that's like what the whole conversation started out down there at the bar.
Okay. Because then so the good times, everybody laughing and telling jokes turns into some sort of what you describe as I'm going to quote your words, a heated debate. What was this heated debate about?
That was part of the joke too. It was like when the German guy was something about like Germany's way better than America, kind of stuff. So we started arguing over no, America's better, no, Germany's better. Heated debate. I don't know about that.
Okay.
I would put that more in we were joking around, kind of.
Okay, because at some point you tell the officer, you say, and I'm going to quote here, "What if 2 dudes want to fuck your girl in a room here? Something's going to happen."
Yeah.
What's that about?
Don't remember at all.
You don't remember saying that?
I don't. So from the time he gave us those drinks, within I would probably say 2-3 minutes after that, I don't remember anything except waking up in a police car. And that's thing. She didn't remember anything. From that point forward, zero memory.
So what do you think happened to you?
Well, from us talking to each other, and we pretty sure we were drugged. So looking back at it, I'm like, I don't know if it was like a setup or, it's too perfect. You have 2 girls, a guy come to our room. We have a drink, and then we don't remember anything from the night. And I said I was missing a couple $100. She's missing her watch, or like a $2,000 watch. And
did you get tested at all?
I remember asking that morning when I woke up in the car for the arresting officer. I was like, please, can you call phlebotomist? I was like, I think I was drugged.
Okay, and what was their response?
And I can't remember anything. He was like, okay, I'll
Right.
get on it. Typical.
What about doing it just on your own, privately? About getting tested yourself?
Well, by the time I got out of jail and dealt with all that stuff, I mean, that was not even on my mind anymore. I was more worried about this, internal affairs, and now that I look back at it, yeah, I should have.
And I understand that, but I mean, that's a pretty good defense for, one, the
Right.
arrest, and two, the internal affairs, right? That
Right.
would have been a pretty good defense.
Right.
Because obviously concerned as well, and she didn't get arrested, and she had talked to you about it. And why didn't she get tested as well?
I asked her if she wanted to get tested, and we talked about it that day, and then just on the way back, driving home and all that. I mean, I don't know. I just started worrying about other stuff.
Okay. So how long were you in the room for?
Their room?
Hanging out? Yeah.
I do not know.
Okay.
I would say we were in there for, from what I remember, 10, 15 minutes from just complete blackout.
Okay. And do you remember?
I remember that so the drinks that the guy gave us, I think some point of when she was drinking it, she spilt it on herself, or someone knocked it on her. I can't remember, honestly. I just remember like she got wet from it.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's when she was like, oh, I'm going to go back to the room and change real quick.
Okay, so she left you there.
Yeah, so then she left. And then from there, I would say within a few minutes, I don't remember anything from that point.
Okay. Do you remember her flirting at all with the German guys?
At what point? Downstairs, upstairs, or?
Upstairs.
No.
Saying anything about wanting to suck the boss or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Do not.
Okay. So
I'm like, did I say that or she said that? Or
the German said that.
okay.
So you have absolutely no recollection from the drink to
The drink,
what
and it's
point?
daylight, and I'm in the back of a squad car, and the arresting officer's typing a report. And that's when I remember I was like, what happened? What's going on? Why am I back here?
Okay. And you don't know anything. I mean, were you told anything? I mean, you read the report. So were you told anything that anybody said or that happened?
Well, the arresting officer, he started telling me, he's like, so I was like, what happened? I don't remember anything. And he was like, well, you were drinking and you punched a hole in a wall. And he's like, and you had your firearm on you. That's pretty much the gist of what he told me. And I was like, well, what am I being arrested for? And he's like, vandalism.
Okay. Do you recall any of your interactions with the Rio Hotel security?
No.
Did you get into a fight with the Germans in the room?
No. I mean, from the point after the drink, I don't know. Like I said, that next day I had a big knot on my head. I don't know what happened. We're missing stuff. I don't know if we got robbed, if we got jumped, I don't know what happened.
Okay. So when Las Vegas Metro PD arrives, you spontaneously stated that you were deputy sheriff from San Diego Sheriff's Department. Like as soon as they get there, why would you state that?
Well, first of all, do you have a recollection of saying that?
I do not.
Okay.
But I can speculate on maybe why. I would assume I realize I have a weapon on me, and if I'm being contacted by law enforcement, I would, tell them, hey, I'm off duty, I have a weapon on me. But I don't remember.
When you got out of jail,
She picked me up.
okay, did you call her from jail?
I called her, no. I called her once I got released.
From your cell phone?
Yeah, because they gave me my property back, and yeah, my cell phone was in there.
When did you realize you had money and property missing?
Right there.
Okay.
Because I was like, there's stuff missing from my bag.
Did you file a report with Metro?
No.
Any particular reason?
No. I mean, it was minor to me at that point. I was like, gonna deal with all of this is gonna be way more major than a couple $100. I believe she called though a few days later and asked about her watch.
Called who?
Called Metro.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think they took a report though.
Was she taken into custody?
She was detained. She told me they handcuffed her and put her in a car too.
Okay.
So
So when you were, before the incident, you were in Vegas for a couple days, presumably drinking. That's what we do when we go to Vegas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were you carrying your weapon while you were drinking?
No. So at the Luxor there was a safe in the room, so
Okay.
I left it in there. In the Rio there was no safe.
Okay.
So, and like I said, when we went into the room, it smelled like marijuana. So we tried to get another room. They said they didn't have any. That they were going to send cleaning crew up to try to disinfect it or something. So
Mhm.
I didn't want to leave a gun in there, no safe. So I
Mm.
made that terrible decision to just keep it on me.
Okay. When you checked in, you said you checked in around 3 p.m. into the Rio
Yeah, I mean my best guess was
General,
yeah.
and then you went to your room, and you said that it smelled like marijuana. You couldn't. And what time did you go up to the room with the Germans, General?
Say maybe 10 o'clock somewhere.
Okay. So that's 7 hours.
Yeah, some.
And then
Amount of time.
What time was Metro pulled up?
About 22:13, I believe.
Okay. So let's just say it's 7 hours. The marijuana smell is still lingering after 7 hours?
Yeah, even the next morning when we went back to the room, it still reeked in there of it.
Okay. That's all I got at this point.
What's our policy regarding use of alcohol while off duty?
The last time I checked, it was you can have some, but just not be intoxicated. Well, you mean like carrying a firearm, or?
First, just use of alcohol.
Just within reason. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know verbatim what it says.
Right, and that's
Right.
okay. What about while carrying a firearm?
Yeah, that one. The last time I read that was you can have some alcohol. It's not forbidden, but just not to be intoxicated.
Okay. So after your three drinks, were you feeling the effects of alcohol?
Yeah, a little bit.
And you were still carrying your gun?
Yes.
Do you know the policy about identifying yourself as a law enforcement officer?
Yeah, you're not allowed to do it to try to gain like favoritism or something to those lines.
What else? Anything else?
No.
Can I ask you a question, sir? Because I don't know the answer.
Sure.
I know that there had been some change on the alcohol with a firearm. What is the current policy?
2.34. When consuming an amount of alcoholic beverages that would tend to adversely affect a reasonable person's senses or judgment or render the employee unfit to report for their next regular tour of duty. There's more, but that's
That's the general alcohol policy, or is that the...
That's the carrying of firearms.
Oh, okay.
2.34.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure if they just basically went to a zero tolerance. If you're drinking, you can't carry, period. Doesn't sound like that, though.
When authorized for off-duty carry, firearms shall be concealed from public view when the employee is wearing civilian attire.
Okay.
That's the carrying. Use of alcohol off-duty is 2.18, and you could, I'm sure you have.
Yeah. I just didn't remember if they'd gone to a zero
Or I'm sorry,
tolerance.
that's abuse of position. Use of alcohol off-duty is 2.14. I apologize. 2.14. Okay, so I guess going over everything that you said while you were talking to Las Vegas Metro is probably a fruitless endeavor, right? Because you don't remember anything.
Right. I mean, it's what happened. Whatever, it's on body camera. I mean, I'm not denying it. I just don't remember any of it.
Okay. Well, so here's something that you said, and I want to get your thoughts on it. So you referred to, when you were talking about the people that you were with, you referred to them, and I'm going to quote, you called them fucking Russians, and then you said, and these are all at different points throughout the contact. These freaking German idiots, Russian, German, whatever the hell they are, they were speaking some other damn language. Another quote, Russians come to our country, cause shit, I'm the one who gets in trouble. I mean, do you have a problem with Russian nationals or German nationals?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Or else I wouldn't be hanging out and drinking with them.
Okay. I mean, do you have a general problem with people who quote, like you said, come to our country and quote?
No.
Okay. You asked several times to speak to a sergeant, and again, as you said, you don't remember that, but why in your mind would you feel the need to speak with a supervisor on scene?
Why do I think now if I requested a sergeant?
Yeah.
Just because I knew that this was going to be, that's sticky situation of being off duty or, LE from another state, and just want a supervisor present to make sure everything goes right.
Okay. What was the disposition of the criminal case?
It was dismissed.
Okay. And it was dismissed because you paid restitution? How did that go down? Did you go back to Las Vegas and go to court?
Right, so the morning I requested to speak to whoever was in charge, the supervisor, and then so they sent the head of security and like a manager out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the security officer was like, he's like, you guys can stay till checkout. He's like, but we just don't want you to come back anymore. And I asked the super manager, whatever she was, I was like, what do you want? And she's like, I just want you to pay for the damage that you did. I said, okay, that's fair. So I paid for the damage. I think a month later I had court. The judge asked if they wanted to press charges or prosecute. Attorney said no. Then they asked if I had paid for it. I said yes. And then the judge was like, okay, it's dismissed.
How much did you pay?
It was like $1,000. $1,000 and something.
And you paid that morning?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, as soon as I got
there.
out, yeah.
Do you know the name of the manager that you dealt with?
No.
Okay.
Did you see the damage that you caused?
No, I didn't. Because I was going to say, no, because I was on a different floor. So that's why I thought. I was like, $1,000. Like, holy moly, that's a lot of money.
How are you aware that it's on a different floor?
That's what the arresting officer told me. He's like, you made it to the right room that morning. He goes, you just made it on the wrong floor.
Okay.
And that's when he told me, he's like, you punched a hole in a wall or something, and that's what you're being arrested for. I didn't see it until right now, until the pictures that you guys gave us.
Okay.
So the officer that spent most of the time with you, Officer Rybacki, he said that your behavior did not reflect well as a representative of the sheriff's department. He said that you were rude and disrespectful, and this is in my interview with him, not body-worn camera. He also said that you did not take responsibility for your actions, and that you felt that this was a frivolous crime. So this vandalism is a frivolous crime. Do you feel that vandalism is a frivolous crime?
No. I look back at it now and I realize, even though I don't remember doing it, I take full ownership of it, and
so you take responsibility for that now?
yes. I mean, like I said, that I don't remember ever speaking to him or any of that until that morning, and that was just for a few minutes of what he told me what happened that night.
Right. So one thing that I do want to talk about is that and again, so now I'm going back to body-worn camera footage, and this is to the officer Rybacki that spent most of his time with you, and you say to him, and this is in reference to you standing there in handcuffs. You said, quote, "I would never do this to you. I've been put in this situation a fucking 1,000 times." End quote. And then you asked to be unhandcuffed and to let you go back to your room without any paperwork. And again, I know you don't recall. Officer Rybacki said that that's not how it worked. And you stated, quote, "It does. That's how it works on my department. We don't fucking Blue Falcon each other." What does Blue Falcon mean?
Blue Falcon was a term we used in the Marine Corps. So if you screwed over one of your buddies.
Okay. So why would you say that to the officer?
Like I said, I don't remember any of that. But I mean, would you say I was handcuffed? Maybe to unhandcuff me, or?
Okay. How does what work on our department? He said that's not how it works on our department.
I'm seriously sorry. I have no idea. What you're reading to me is shocking to me. I've never read any of this or known any of this that even happened that night. So it's actually putting the picture together more for me on but.
Right, and the concern is, and actually one of the officers expressed this concern during my interview with him, was that when people drink, they tend to say things that that they feel that they probably shouldn't say, right?
Right.
So that's the concern here, is that your intoxication, whether it was voluntary or not, right? You're saying some things that that just I don't want to say are not appropriate, because I'm not going to make that judgment, but that some would feel are inappropriate in how you really feel about things. And that's a concern for, somebody in law enforcement, somebody on the department, right?
Right.
And so that's why I ask, understanding that you don't recall saying that, but you said it nonetheless.
Right.
And so is that how you? Is that how you feel about being contacted by other law enforcement while they're conducting a preliminary investigation?
No, I do not. I'm just, from looking back at why I might have been irritated or mad at that point, it's because, like I said, I thought I just got robbed or punched or something happened with these German people, and then I'm the one being handcuffed at that point. So it's why am I in handcuffs and no one else is? So I think that's would be why I started saying stuff like that.
How did you know nobody else was in handcuffs?
Well, she was in the back of the car in handcuffs.
Right. How about anybody else?
Well, so she told me, she was like, when she went down, she's like, they were all talking, and I was in the car handcuffed.
But what about anybody else? You said that you knew nobody else was in handcuffs.
That's what she told me when she was explaining the scene when she came down. And then right now, what you're saying, if I said that stuff, which clearly I did, it's on body on camera. If I don't remember that. But that I'm just trying to piece it together here on why I might have said something.
The problem that we're having here is that we're asking him to speculate in a room when he's stone cold sober.
Right.
When he's, now realizes that this whole incident was not a good thing.
Right.
That he's in the midst of an internal affairs investigation. His state of mind when he's been roofied or whatever happened to him is going to be very different than what his state of mind is here. And your point is well taken. The question is legitimate. Do you believe that peace officers of any agency should be afforded any kind of favorable treatment when they break the law by any other law enforcement agency? That's a legitimate question. That goes to what he will do moving forward, and I think he answered that question. But to try to get him in this environment to put himself back into the state of mind that he was at in that environment, he's pissed off. I would be too. I'm handcuffed, my head hurts, my money's gone. I'm going to be dealing with internal affairs. I'm going to have a court appearance. The world is crashing in on me. So what I say and what I'm thinking then is very different than what I'm going to do when I'm clean and sober and go back to work.
Right. The problem is what happened then. That's...
I understand, and what happened then is on BWC. We don't need to listen to a Metro PD officer's assessment of what his demeanor was. A Metro PD officer's assessment of what his demeanor was. We can watch it.
Right.
And he's accountable for his demeanor, and he knows that.
Right.
You previously said that you came to in the back of the squad car and the sun was up.
Yeah.
How long were you in the back of the police car? Because you got contacted at 22:30, and now sun's up presumably the next day, and you're in the back of the car. So,
yes.
You're in the back of the car for
I don't even remember what time I was contacted.
6 or 7 hours.
When I came to. I don't even remember what time I was contacted, but I remember when I came to, the sun was coming up. It was daylight coming out.
And you were in a police car.
I was in the back of the police car, still handcuffed, and trying to figure out how did I get there.
Okay. Describe what happened when you got booked into jail.
So from that car, I got booked in. So from that car, I remember the officer, he was typing his report, and that's when I started asking him, and he was telling me little bits and pieces of why I was being arrested and what happened during the night. And then from there, it was like a transport van or something came. They put me in there, and then they drove me down to the jail. And then from there, it was like a normal intake process where they take off your shoes and all this stuff, and fingerprinted, photographed. Then I talked to like a booking OR, and then that was safe. hours later, they released me.
Okay. No sobering cell or anything like that?
No.
Just a standard holding
Yep.
cell? Were you with anyone else?
No, it's by myself.
Make phone calls?
No.
Drive there and pick you up?
Yeah,
Okay. And then you went back to the hotel,
correct.
and they were okay with you staying there for a little bit longer?
Yeah, so as soon as we went back, that's when I requested to talk to a manager, and then that's when the head of security came out also, and then told me what I did, and told them I was sorry for it, and I was willing to pay for the damages, and they're like, okay, it's $1,000. So I paid right then and there, and the security guard was like, he's like, you know what, clearly my demeanor and attitude was completely different at that point.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you guys can stay till checkout. I know you're tired. You just spent the whole night in jail or whatever. He's like, but after this, he's like, I don't want you to come back here anymore. And I agreed to it.
Physically, how did you feel?
I felt terrible. It was like pounding headache. I mean, just felt like I was sick.
Okay.
Have you ever felt that way before from drinking?
No.
Have you had a hangover before?
Yeah, I've had a hangover. This was not a hangover. This was different.
How?
It was like way more severe, way more. I was like sunlight was bothering me, bright lights were bothering me. Normally, like if I have a hangover, it's just a headache.
Mm-hmm. And how long did that last?
That lasted the entire day. I mean, now I don't know if this was a lot of like anxiety and all that kicking in my body. I'd never been in this position before. I mean, yeah.
And then you left and came home? Home being San Diego?
Yes,
How did you get home?
we drove.
Who drove
I drove.
the entire way?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I said, it's a little foggy still, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I drove all the way.
If it's foggy at this point, I hope you won't drive again if you're a little foggy.
Yeah. No, that's definitely.
Foggy.
Yeah. No, that's definitely.
Did you kind of come to prior to them taking you to the restroom? Do you remember them taking you to the restroom in the casino?
No.
You say they referring to security?
I'm sorry, the officers.
Metro.
I was like,
Metro taking you to the restroom through the casino while you're sitting in the back of the car for a while. Because you were in the back of the car. You were outside for a while. Then they put you in the car. So you were there in the valet for quite some time. Just for your memory.
well, that's why, like, when you're saying, like, are you sure it was daylight? I'm like, I'm pretty positive it was daylight. And that's why I was like, why
It
is
very well could have been.
why is it
Long
daytime?
time ago, I forgot.
I remember my wrists were tore up after that too.
Yeah, it very well could have been because the body worn camera shuts off, at a certain point because he's in the back of the
I
car.
remember that's before the time change, so even
Right.
at 0500,
It would be
the
lighter.
sun's coming up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be lighter.
Yeah.
Okay. I think now would be a good time to take a quick break.
We're good.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd like to just take a short one.
Sure.
That's okay.
Sure, yeah.
We're going to go off recording. I'm going to stop at 15:57 hours.